And welcome to the Virtual Business Owners Network on Friday, the 8th of November, 2024. And we're delighted to have Chris Wheeler from Let's Rock, who's going to give us a talk on from profiles to posting, maximizing your potential with LinkedIn. So take it away, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Alec, and good morning, everybody. You may or may not know, this week has been the 20th anniversary of my LinkedIn journey. I first got my email invite from Reid Hoffman in 2004. Reid was the founder of LinkedIn, and in these days you may or may not know, but it was an invitation-only network, so you were quite privileged to be able to get on it. Obviously, things have changed quite dramatically. Reid is now sold out for some billions of dollars, and it's now a Microsoft product. But basically, the mantra started off as being something for essentially business networking combined with human resources and a kind of a job board, and it's kind of evolved into a post-COVID business stroke social media platform. So I think we've seen a big change in that time frame. It's a platform that's designed for businesses who want to grow their network. If you're looking to expand your reach, it will be a powerful tool to showcase all of your expertise and engage with your partners. And if you think about it like your online business card, it's a combination of that and your resume and a thought leadership platform all in one. It's going to allow you to grow your network, your connections, your credibility, and help you to become a thought leader. So the question is, are you using LinkedIn to its full potential? And this morning we're going to talk about how you can do that. And I've built this presentation in HTML to make it nice and simple. So the first thing is your profile. It's the first thing everybody's going to see. It's your digital handshake. You need to make it firm and memorable. The banner is like the brand's billboard. It should capture your attention, and like a powerful ad on a busy highway, people should be having a kind of a wow factor from it. The billboard is not just a sign on a storefront. It's clearly a high resolution image, and ultimately you want it to convey the message that you want to attract people who can engage with you. A typical headline that I've created here, first of all, you need to avoid generic headlines, and you should use a compelling value statement. So I've given you an example there. I've tried to think about the people that are in this group. So business coach turning struggling ventures into £1 million plus success stories is clearly something that would resonate with most people. It's very a simplistic statement, but it says who you are, what you're trying to achieve, and the value that you potentially can add to a business. And the image there is my banner on my profile, which is changing normally once every 2 or 3 months. Actually, I refine it. Let's Rock is a fairly distinctive brand. Obviously, there's a music connotation, so we've got the G clef there. And then I've actually put not only how I solve problems and the difference with me in terms of leadership and understanding both the creative and the technical side of business, but also a testimonial from a satisfied client. So there's some trust signals there as well. In LinkedIn, you have an about section, and we use something called the PACE method. And the PACE method is the problem, the approach, the success, and the engagement. So the problem is we want to try and address the challenges that your audience is facing. So it's their pain. It's what's keeping them up at night. What are they really in need of that potentially you can satisfy? You can then explain your unique method or framework, and that's like sharing a secret recipe. And then ultimately, you can share some success metrics and some case studies, customer testimonials, and add a friendly invitation to connect. And let's discuss how I can help you reach your goals is a fairly softly approach. So here I've given you the example of my strapline underneath my profile, which is that I'm an e-commerce lead generation and conversion rate optimization specialist. I'm ready to bring 24 years of experience in designing, developing, and marketing over 850 global shops to your business. And I'm a pioneer in SEO since 1995. And I think that's pretty clear. And my about section, I've literally just added the problem, approach, success, engage, just to show you real world what it looks like. So the problem my clients have is that they struggle to achieve growth. They don't know what to spend. Their budgets are all over the place normally, especially in the online marketing space. And they're trying to meet customer expectations in the face of competitors, in the face of AI, in the face of all sorts of different things. The agitation is, without the right leadership and without data-driven strategies, your business is risking falling behind. So what we're looking to do is make sure that you don't lose your talent. So part of my work is actually training people, and we want to engage with clients and build trust for their businesses. And obviously we try to make sure that the client's visibility is the best it can be. And the solution is, as a co-founder and fractional leader, I'm bridging these gaps with over 29 years of experience, blah, 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 building client relationships. And the evidence is there for all to see. There's testimonials on LinkedIn to the work that I've done over the last 20 years on the platform and 30 years in online marketing. So algorithms, we've talked about algorithms before. An algorithm is just a mathematical calculation that LinkedIn, like Google, try to work out whether what you're posting is of value, whether it deserves a boost, and whether it should get more visibility around the platform. So it's like a garden. It needs the care to flourish. It's all about timing, the kind of content that you're creating, and the engagement is your fertilizer, your water, and your sunlight that actually builds your reputation and helps you to grow and gives you a wider profile. Typical timing is proven to be between 8 and 10 o'clock local time for the best reach. Seems to be a time when people are starting work for the day, and clearly they're most engaged and wide awake at that. Well, unless you're a night owl, they're awake at that time. Text-only posts are obviously very simple. PDFs and images will add variety, and don't go crazy with videos. Obviously, people buy with their eyes. There's the adage of a picture says 1,000 words, but shorter videos keep things engaging. And if you use the framework that I've just shared with you, with a great call to action at the end, the video will actually do you a lot of good. But I would recommend that you don't post videos every 5 minutes. What you try and do is create a balance of text, image, video. And I've even, since the advent of AI, because a lot of people were creating posts with AI, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I was actually starting to do my post live as a video, and some of you may have seen those. So what to post and when? Each day, if you're going to do this seriously and you want to build your audience in a way that makes sense, then really you should have a theme, and you're trying to keep your followers engaged. So you're trying to tell a story, and the story is a combination of factors. So the first thing is you're going to share some news, which is partly what social media is all about. So your industry insights into maybe tax laws and what they mean for business makes sense for a Monday. On Tuesday, you're going to give me some hints and tips, things that you can help me with. And I've used an example here of 5 ways to protect my business. And Wednesday is a success story. So how I've helped a client save X in whatever, and what it meant to them. And typically that'll have a testimonial at the end of it, or a soundbite at the end of it, or maybe even a link to the website with a testimonial on it. Thursday is all about thought leadership. So this is when you start talking about your subject matter, and not in a salesy way, but in a way that people understand that you are actually an expert without you shouting about being an expert. And Friday is your personal story. So this is what's happened to you in life. As I said, this week is my 20th anniversary on LinkedIn, so I put a post out about that. I've shared experiences about being a commercial director in a print company, being about an agency leader, and now being in a marketing partnership as Let's Rock. So it's much more personal. Engagement tips. Well, engagement is a conversation. You know, we're trying to create an atmosphere as if you and I were talking face to face. We were doing a one-to-one. So we treat each comment as an opportunity to continue the dialogue. And one of the other issues at the moment is with the advent of AI and people not having a lot of time. When I started social media, my first posts, I did very few actually. But when I got into Twitter, especially, in 2005-06, I found myself posting 60 times a day, and I was actually having conversations with people. Yeah, so social media was all about having a conversation, yeah, and opening up a dialogue. And I think that's got a bit lost with AI, because it's not as personal. There's not as much emotion in it. And hard as you try to create a prompt, it's the human touch that matters, and people buy from people. We all know that. So when you do your comments, you should avoid things like "thanks for sharing," and instead share insights from your experience. So you're carrying on the conversation by adding value to it. So, oh, thanks very much for that, Alec. A really, really great piece of information. Here's a tip you might not know about. Yeah. And then somebody else adds to that. And that's how the conversation really sort of expands itself. And you'll figure out for yourself whether that conversation is worth continuing, or whether you want to start another one, or whether you just leave it and move on to something else. There's a big thing about hashtags. Hashtags normally at the bottom of your post are sometimes the algorithm information that we get from LinkedIn says you shouldn't use them. Sometimes it says you should use them. At the moment, it seems to be that they are still widely being used. And in order to make most of that, you should use a mix of general ones, so business growth, specific ones about your type of business or the type of audience that you want to attract, and then your niche within that. So I've used an example of London Business Coach, and that hashtag, those hashtags, people actually use the search box in LinkedIn in order to be able to find certain things and information. So for example, if I wanted to reach out to an e-commerce director, I would push hashtag e-commerce director, or I would search for that, and anything relevant that's in the hashtags in LinkedIn will be found amongst the 900 million profiles that are on there. And as we're data driven, we always want to understand what success looks like, because obviously time is money. You don't often value your own time in terms of an hourly rate, but you do have an hourly rate as a business person. So think of success as a LinkedIn, as your LinkedIn health check, and you want to track your growth to stay on track. So weekly, you're aiming for a 20% growth in your profile views, 2,000 plus post impressions, and about a 5% engagement rate. And LinkedIn has a series of metrics that you can actually tap into within your profile settings that will show you how your engagement is growing. And it's actually more defined if you've got a paid account, and ultimately if you've got a company account, which is different to your personal account. There's much more data in there and analytics about the type of people that are looking at your profile, and you'll get a sense then of your audience. And if you constantly monitor the network that you're building, you'll figure out that a percentage of them are certainly interested in one particular subject, or they come from one particular demographic, and then you tailor your posts accordingly to that. And as we do in everything online marketing, we're testing it, we're measuring it, we're changing images. And equally, when you've got a timeline like I have over 20 years, I'll go back and look at some of the posts that have got maximum engagement, and I'll actually refresh them and repost them as evergreen content. So there's no harm in that, and actually that can save you a lot of time. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to review the connections we've got. We're trying to generate leads and information, and we're also checking up on our networking goals that we set for ourselves. So to summarize, growing your business on LinkedIn, start by creating a profile that really captures the attention. It tells your story. You want to share your valuable content. You want human touch where you can. Yeah, it's the way I talk to you here is exactly the way I write on LinkedIn. There's no difference at all. I don't use airs and graces. I keep it simple, and people engage with me. I've got 12,000 followers on LinkedIn at the moment, and that grows at about 15% a week. Consistency is key. You want to try and keep a consistent posting regime. You don't have to post every single day. The key times, or the most focused days seem to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. They seem to be when people are most engaged. So if you can do nothing else, excuse me, try to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you've got a company LinkedIn page, then I recommend you post an article on there at least once a week. That's probably going to be something in the region of 1,800 characters. And actually 1,800 to 2,000 characters is an optimum limit for a post. Anything less than that, yeah, it will get picked up, but Short, sharp bursts can work. You know, some people just post a couple of lines and it's like so thought-provoking that it engages. But to keep consistency going, 1,800 to 2,000 characters is really the optimum that you should use. And one technique that you might also think about is, if you've got a blog on your website, then create your article on your website, and then create a teaser post in your LinkedIn article or post, and then put a link to the full post in your post. Yeah, and what that does is, if the post is powerful enough, the hook to it will send people to your website, and that will ultimately build your traffic on your website. So you can use it in that way as kind of a 360 approach. And basically that's it. So thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Chris, and we really appreciate that. I'm just going to stop the recording and then we can take the questions.